against Doug Lambert. Relative unknown is the player on the left, Seth Manfield. Well, you all should know his name by now, given what he did at Worlds and how he is the #1 player. But Lambert, with his green-black deck, as far as green cards are concerned, he's got a lot, and most of them seem to be good.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty good test here. There were a lot of green rares opened. A lot of them landed here. I did not get the sense, like the previous draft that we watched, there were 3 green drafters at the table at least. I didn't get the sense that was going on here.
Mm-hmm. How many are there is the question.
I'm guessing this is just the one. Maybe there's someone splashing out there, but
both players are going to take a look at their opener. We will find out soon enough who's on the play here. And then things will be underway between Seth Manfield and Doug Lambert. Round number 13 here from Grand Prix Atlanta. We do appreciate having you here this afternoon. Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan here in the booth at SCG Live, hashtag GPAtlanta all weekend long for your tweets. Join in on the conversation on Twitter as we are underway. Lambert will start with a swamp, Manfield with an island. Doug Lambert does not have another land to play, which leads me to believe he's taken at least one mulligan. Yeah, they're both on 6 cards here. Lambert just has to pass the turn back yet again. A mountain there for Manfield. He'll draw. Does Seth have a 3rd land? He just found a mountain off the top of his deck. Does he have a play? He does. It's the tunneling Geopede. Lambert will draw. Looks like he missed again.
I'm going to throw this out there.
Yes, sir.
Not the green card's fault.
I won't blame this on the green cards. No.
Not blame this on the green cards.
The discard was a gold draws overs here. Tunneling Geopede's going to trigger as an island hits the battlefield. Now come across for a couple points of damage as well. Does Seth have a follow-up? He can make short work of this game. And we've seen today in these limited games, they have not taken very long.
No.
It's a Vile Aggregate. Does Lambert have another land?
Not the most explosive way to follow up on an opponent who just has 1 land in play and discarding a hand size, but he'll take whatever.
It's a follow-up.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all fine.
You're not impressed by a 1/5, huh?
Could be a 2/5 this turn, 3/5 even.
Yep. Another discard there for Lambert. Seth will play a land. There will be a trigger there from Tunneling Geopede.
That incubator drone going, maybe?
Oh, boy.
Nope. Guess not.
Here come the beatdowns. There is an ingest trigger to be had there. Curious if Seth did forget it. It looks like he may have. Yeah. Shadow Skull Recruit. There's a Fertile Thicket.
I don't know if you've been stalled on lands before. Draw a Fertile Thicket against the ingest creature. Not a great feeling.
Not the best feeling. That's for sure.
Just got to put them all on the bottom.
Just let them all go. That'll be face down past the turn. Well, Seth did miss the ingest trigger last time.
Yeah, I guess you're playing to your outs or whatever.
Yeah. So, in the off chance that Seth does miss the ingest trigger again here from Vile Aggregate, I suppose you can take advantage of that. Here come the attacks. And that's going to do it as far as that game is concerned. As Seth didn't need to do anything else. Doug just missing land drops there. It's pretty straightforward stuff. Unfortunately for Doug, finds a bad time to mulligan into just a 1-land hand that he couldn't draw out of.
Yeah, not a whole lot to be said about that one.
No, not much of a recap to be had on that game. So Seth Manfield very quickly up a game. So now we take a look at both players kind of going back to the drawing board. And then I always like to take a look at the players when this does happen. As Doug is just shuffling, not going to the drawing board. Seth, however, is going to the drawing board. And even though he didn't even see anything, he does know he's against a green-black deck. So maybe there's something in the sideboard hanging out that he may want.
Take a little look, a little gander at the deck list here, see if anything jumps out as a potential sideboard card. Didn't see anything for Dispel. Didn't see anything for Tightening Coils because he didn't see anything. He's got Pathway arrows in his sideboard. Didn't see anything really for that. Just probably shuffle up and go.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. He took a brief look at the sideboard, but he's already shuffling up and going as the #1 player in the world, Seth Manfield. Doug Lambert thinking, you know what, how about I just draw some lands?
Yeah.
That'd be fine. I would enjoy doing that. Now, I did take a little look at Vile Aggregate. Just want to confirm, yeah, it does have ingest. Seth just missed the trigger a couple times.
Seth might have just lost track of the card's 4th power.
Yeah. It does have a few does have a few lines of text.
Yeah,
there.
there's a lot going on here.
Yeah. Devoid, trample, ingest, power equal to the number of creatures you control. A little bit going on there. We'll see if that card shows up here in the next game. And we'll see if players can keep 7 cards. You see Seth, focus as ever. He's taken his game to another level over the past year.
Been rewarded too.
Yeah.
Well compensated for his efforts.
Pro Tour top 8 on the resume, World Championship on the resume. It's a name and face that the Magic community is going to become very familiar with because he is very skilled at the game. Not surprised to see him be 10-2 and on his way potentially to 11-2 here.
I'm going to guess something too right now.
Oh boy, here we go.
He did not forget the trigger. He just did not know the card did that.
Yeah, I'm fully aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to read.
There's a lot going on with that. It has 4 lines of text, at least.
A lot of line breaks.
A forest here for Lambert, an island for Manfield as we're underway here in game number 2. Evolving Wilds, I believe the draw here for Doug. And it'll be Evolving Wilds before passing the turn back over to Manfield. A mountain for Seth and an activation of the Evolving Wilds here for Lambert. A plains is the land that he'll find. And now we will be going back over to Lambert here in just a moment.
Well, it looks like he's got some lands in hand. His colored mana situation is sorted out here.
He's doing much better than last game. Now he's got all 3 colors. Looks like an Obs on deck now. Go back over to Manfield. See what Seth wants to bring to the table. An island. And there's telling Geopede yet again. Natural Connection is going to allow Doug to search up a land here on the end step. We've got a basic forest. It's weird to say that's like one of my favorite cards from the set, but an instant speed, like Rampant Growth, I think is kind of cool for some reason.
It's because it's in a set with landfall, so it has a little more play to it. Surprise lands. There's not a whole lot of sets where you can justify making this kind of card because it instant doesn't add a whole lot to it for the most part. This is an exception. It's cool for them to crank out cards like that.
Kozilek's Channeler. We're heading back Manfield's way. The 4/4 looking to add some more mana and maybe ramp Lambert towards something enormous. Manfield will play a mountain. That'll trigger the Geopede.
Looks like the leftovers in Lambert's hand here. Lands in a Demon's Grasp.
Miss Intruder the play there from Manfield.
Lambert's deck does not have a whole lot of payouts for having this much mana in play. The Kozilek's Channeler are much closer just to Darkwood Boars than it is for facilitating any sort of strategy.
Well, he's coming into the red zone right now with the 4/4. Is there a healthy follow-up? I'd say there is.
I believe that's a Territorial Baloth.
Yeah.
Green.
That's the noise it makes.
This is just a green thing.
Yeah. I think he may have overtapped for that, though. Yeah?
Yeah, it looks that way.
Cost 5. Yeah, that's a touch awkward. Here comes the attack. Looming Spires did occur. So no good blocks we have. +1/+1 and first strike over there to the Tunneling Geopede. There's the ingest from the Mist Intruder. Maybe both players a little bit of nerves here with so much on the line. See what's next here for Manfield, assuming there is another play. Remember, 2 copies of Brutal Expulsion in the deck.
Yep. Though, not the best on this board.
Yeah.
Nothing to shock.
Seth has tapped all 4 mana. Just curious to see how he's going to use it now. Aha, okay, so it's going to be Merc Strider.
Big play here.
Yep. Going to bounce back Kozilek's Channeler. Over to Lambert we go.
If Manfield can work the game, the board state a little bit towards parity, then the Brutal Expulsions become very good. When he's on the back foot and facing a lot of damage, they lose a lot of its power.
There's the Oran Reef Hydra. There's a land. And that's a good land to have. And now here's a good attack. Now this is the power of green. Huge creatures, some of which have trample. Remember, Lambert has 2 copies of Oran Reef Hydra, so that's a nice turn for him.
And, you know, we've been a little tongue-in-cheek making fun of green. That card, once it's in play, is pretty great.
That's enormous. It's a 7/7 right now. Potential to get much larger. There's an island for Manfield. Tunneling GPAt'll trigger. And the question is, has Manfield found something sweet to do with his deck? I think this might be a clutch. Yep. And that card's an absolute beating.
Sigh.
Yeah. Bounce your Oran Reef Hydra. Awaken my island. Make it a 3/3. Come to the red zone for a non-zero amount. He's got to figure out how much he wants to attack with here, because he's got to be careful, kind of balance his life total a little bit. But a heck of a turn there.
Clutch and Rush of Ice are just really rough on the green creatures that can be targeted.
Oh, yeah. It's an absolute beating.
It takes so long, you know? And if Manfield is contemplating not attacking with everything, it means that he feels like he has enough goods in his hand to win the next turn, even if he chump blocks.
Yeah. He just wants to make sure he doesn't die to some weird combination of cards, I think, is the plan.
I mean, you know, there's 4 points of damage on the table already. A land, the right awaken spell. It's not inconceivable that he could die on the way back here. It's just unlikely.
Well, Lambert's down to 2. The door is open if he's got something unique, some roundabout way of killing Manfield.
It is Plated Crusher.
That's,
yet,
that's just
yet another green creature.
a big, dumb, green idiot. That's what the Plated Crusher is. Just like so many other green cards in this set. There's a swamp there in Lambert's hand. I'm not sure he's got any way to come back here.
Yeah, I think the converted mana cost of his hand is something in the neighborhood of 20.
Ooh.
And he's only got 7 mana, so that's not 2 spells a turn.
No, that's not. Looks like Doug Lambert may have just gotten tempoed out of this game. And we have seen this happen before to green decks in this format.
Well, he can't do anything about the flyer, and so he needs 3 blockers against 3 creatures on the ground, because all 3 creatures on the ground are lethal. And he can also just die to landfall plus flyer.
Yep.
There's a lot of ways for this to go badly here for Lambert.
Well, there's the Oran Reef Hydra past the turn back. Going to try to represent some strength here is Doug. Just have to play a land, put him down to 1. And he might sneak on across the finish line there with just the Mist Intruder. Well, it looks like he has some reaching for some mana to maybe cast a spell here. Everybody's coming in, and that is going to do it. Seth Manfield's going to win this match over Doug Lambert, 2-0. The world champ, #1 player in the world, picks up a W in his first match of the pod.